So you had this issue with Shiva's ego desires, I guess, for monetary gain, for fame, for women, for whatever. I don't know.
And it's like, okay, this is a part of me that I'm missing. This is a part of me that I'm missing. Gobble it all up, and then come to Shiva, and it's just like, oh my goodness, there's nothing to eat. Like, what am I going to do?
There's these external desires that you've realized within yourself as well through Shiva. So I think, if anything, Shiva enlightened you.
Today we are joined with a strange individual. My friends, the person that you see right here below us has been messaging me hundreds of times, maybe a little bit less, on Discord, saying all kinds of wacky stuff, telling me to pay him $1,000. And then spontaneously, Carlos calls me and says, hey, this guy wants to do a podcast. It's something so magical, something so potent's going to happen, something. And I want to keep this a secret. Nobody has to know. Nobody wants to know. So we're going to discover what happens. We're going to figure out what are the ulterior motives and what the potency is. Maybe I'll get enlightened today. So please, let us know. Where do we get started from this, Carlos?
So I'm in the dark about all of this. The only thing I know is we did the last ego guru when we first introduced you as the ego guru. Soma immediately reached out and he said, I want an ego boost. And so I was like, okay, cool. We have our first client for our ego boost session. But then Soma then reached out to me after that subsequently, and the conversation started going in a different direction that I kind of wasn't expecting. So I'm a little blindsided here myself. All I know is that he mentioned that he apologized for lashing out at you, and he was like, I think he thought that I had seen it, but I'm gonna be the first one to tell you guys I did not see any lashing out. I didn't personally witness it. So Soma, I would ask if you could fill me in. What was your original intention? And then maybe what was your beef with Shiva, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Tricky questions to answer. Because both of those don't really exist for me. Like my intentions, I didn't have any motives behind joining in the first place, and I also didn't have any beef with Shiva directly. It sort of just played out how it played out, and now I'm sort of coming from it from a little bit of a different perspective where I've got a bit more clarity on what was happening. When that all went down, and
Okay, so Shiva, maybe we can start from your perspective, because I feel like Soma didn't really give me the meat and potatoes. So what did you experience from Soma?
Well, he contacted
specifically
me on Discord. He contacted me on Discord, and
you're far away from the mic. We can't hear you.
Yeah, maybe I'll go through some of the chats. He was saying some very outlandish stuff. I don't want to give anything specifically away because it's a private conversation. But okay, I can go. Things like, I mean, I understand. For example, also, would it be possible to transfer me $1,000 to get those beads sent through? I'm feeling kind of underappreciated over this way. Haha. As if he did something for me. So please tell me, maybe you're psychically so powerful that you're the reason for my success on YouTube. Let me know.
Wait, Shiva. So before we, because you're going back into question mode. So if I understood what you said correctly, part of the beef situation was that he came to you saying something along the lines that he wanted you to pay him for something he did for you.
There is no beef between me, but
not beef, but I guess part of the situation was he wanted you to pay him for something he did for you.
Yeah, let's let him answer. I'm curious to see how he responds. Maybe you'll understand better, because I don't understand.
Okay.
What's the question?
You told me that I need to pay you $1,000 for the beads, and you feel underappreciated.
Yeah, I don't even really know where to start specifically. It's basically a projection. So I was projecting myself onto you, and you copped the brunt of that, I guess. Like, yeah,
Okay.
it's yeah. Questions are probably a good way to explore it, just
But
because
but but
for me, yeah,
just to be clear, it started from a place of you feeling undervalued for something, which I'm still not clear on. I guess was it music? What was it exactly?
it's not even. Yeah, it's coming at it from the wrong angle. So like if I'm saying that I don't have or I didn't have intentions and I didn't have beef, what I'm indicating there is I didn't have motive. I was acting drunkenly. I was intoxicated. I was moving without thought, without reason. It was just like intuitive.
I got it. No problem. Well, there you have it, folks. That's the end of our live stream. Thank you so much for watching.
Soma, can you just what we're looking for here is details. What did you
Yep.
say?
Yep.
You know, what I want you to first of all understand is that we're not bothered by this, so you don't really have to validate why you did what you did or didn't do or whatever.
Yep.
We're just right now interested in fleshing out the facts so that the people can kind of get some context on what exactly happened.
Yep.
So if you don't mind just telling us what happened, what is it that you did say initially? Let's start there.
I think need to go further back than that. So the conversation started before it was a direct conversation. So it actually started like by me joining that first video that we had with I am or whatever his name was. So I guess that would be my first sort of, if I was to draw any starting point or any like point where things moved from, it would be there. So my motivation for joining the YouTube video and discussing like with I am and everyone that was on the group chat at that time, basically the headspace that I was in at the time there was I was basically in a point where I was still exploring very heavily, so very interested in like following like my highest excitement and just going like, all right, this is calling to me, go in that direction. And I just immediately, I've been doing it basically like for a lot of my later years, just like not really acting rationally, but acting on impulse, and through acting on that impulse of been communicating, and it's been a path of its own, if that makes sense.
Okay. Let me ask you this. So what was it that got you, I guess, on that path initially with Shiva, I guess?
It gravitated that way.
Was it something he said? Was it just his vibe in general? Was it building up over time? Was it a specific moment? I guess that's what I'm looking for.
I think what it was he was the first person to like defeat me. Like so like if I'm on this like intuitive journey where I'm like basically following impulse and following my intuition or whatever, then there's obviously like this journey where I'm like facing new fears, and then by facing those new fears, I'm overcoming them. And that's the sort of path, is like there's a fear presented, and then through facing the fear, there's awareness brought to the fear, and then through that awareness, the fear is left by the wayside. And so I guess with Shiva, what it was when I say he was the first person to defeat me, was that it was the first time in my experience where I had moved to a place where I was engaging with a person where I couldn't gauge their motive. I couldn't see intention. I couldn't, as in, aside from the very surface level stuff, like where it's just like, okay, that's very small. I can see that. That's no problem. But the actual, like the deep stuff where it's just like, what is it? Where is it? And I couldn't find it. And it basically, through that reflection, I was able to have that for myself as well.
Interesting. Okay. So, and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm gonna try to paraphrase what I think you just said.
Yeah.
Is basically that you couldn't figure out what Shiva was doing, what his intentions were, essentially, and through that somehow you felt defeated, because I guess maybe you're used to reading other people's intentions usually.
I couldn't find the shadow at the core of his being, which I could in others, because it's a reflection. So that's the path, is like integrating your shadow through having conversation, having dialogues, and it's like, okay, this is a part of me that I'm missing. This is a part of me that I'm missing. Gobble it all up, and then come to Shiva, and it's just like, oh my goodness, there's nothing to eat. Like, what am I going to do? And it's,
Interesting. Shiva, do you have any comment on any of that so far?
That's wonderful to hear. I'm glad that you can't perceive me or can't see my intentions. I like it that way. Truth be told, I don't have any intentions, so maybe that's why you can't see them. That's good. And yeah, no shadow means I'm a vampire, so be wary when you come next to me. I'll drink your blood.
as in, I can see those ones, but the real ones I'm talking about.
The real ones. Real intentions, you mean?
Like, intentions isn't even the right word. Like, I can see your shadow, like black and white. That's no problem. It's like who you are is.
Okay. But or
So correct me if I'm wrong. Soma, basically what you're saying is that you can see what Shiva is trying to portray, but you believe that that's not the genuine side of himself.
Yep.
I see.
So tell us more. Elaborate on that. Expand.
Well,
sure. I think like a portrayal, or like a front, or a mask, like would come out in the situation where there's like vulnerability. So like we all come into the world and we're basically innocent. We've got no history to us. And then like through having a mum and dad, through having a childhood, through having friends, and that we put on like a face or a front or a persona that's acceptable to the world. And then through that we develop a sense of self, and then it's like that self has to be integrated with a deeper sense of self if that innocence is continued.
So I have no more innocence. Is that what you're saying?
So before we get into that, because I like what you said there. I mean, first of all, let me just say that I commend you, Soma. You're very well spoken, and you communicate very effectively what's on your mind. I want to commend you on that. And I want to talk about what you're talking about, because there is I think there's an element there that Shiva could address if he wants to. I don't know if he will. He might just do what he typically does and say, "Oh yeah, well if you don't think this is the real me, then just believe whatever you want," and just kind of dodge it that way. Or he might actually offer some introspection. I don't know. But before we get into that, I just want to know. So, okay, let's say this is the case, right? Let's say Shiva's an imposter of some sort. He's hiding his real self. How did that result in you then feeling defeated?
Because it wasn't the shadow that I was reflecting. It wasn't the false light or the false fake self. It was the true self that I was reflecting. And then to see someone that's like actually there, it's like that's what I was reflecting. It was like it was an authentic. It was real. That's so. It's not.
I don't
not that
understand. I don't understand. I don't understand the. I don't understand the. When you're saying like when you say it's not the shadow that I was reflecting, do you mean when you say reflecting, do you mean perceiving, or what do you mean?
Yeah, I think it's super important with stuff like this to just be like super clear with communication, because like it's very easy to just go like straight down into a train of thought that's not beneficial. I guess I'll try say or summarize what I was saying in simpler words and briefer words as well. So if there's this sense of self that we develop like from our childhood, and we come into the world as like complete innocence, like we're untouched. So there's no sense of self that we actually come in with. That's something that's put on. That's something that's gathered, that's collected, because it's necessary to integrate like judgment, to know hot from cold, bad from good, right from wrong, whatever. That needs a level of integration with an experience. So innocence can't just stay innocence, because what happens when innocence meets something hot or something cold, it's not just going to stay there and just like be blank. It's like we're humans. We've got a whole scale of emotion. We've got a whole experience. It's not just it's everything. It's all of it, and that all needs to be integrated. I don't really think it's too important, the whole defeated stuff. That's just talking about my experience with the interaction. I don't feel like I've been conquered by him now. It's that's what I needed at the time to get the reflection that I did. And now that I can see that aspect of myself clearly, I no longer need to worry about what was hidden to me before. It's like I'm now okay. I can see clearly.
I see. Okay.
Let me ask you a question. You said that this experience that you felt was defeated or whatever. I mean, you said you saw me or you looked at me for what I am or the truth self or something. Or can you elaborate on that? What did you see in me?
Yeah. I can't elaborate on that. Is probably the most authentic answer.
Because the thing about it is like you're moving on to the resolution part. So it's like it sounds like you've resolved whatever issue you had initially, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take, like, I don't want people to miss out on all the steps
Yeah.
right? That got you to where you currently are. So
Yep.
far, what I'm gathering is that you are referring to a process that we all go through, which is where we're born into a world where we, we, like you call it, we have this innocence about us. And then as we interact with the world and the good and evil of the world, or the hot and cold, or whatever it may be, we develop, we can call it defense mechanisms, we can call it ego, we can call it a facade. And what I'm taking is that you're saying that Shiva developed a facade that you couldn't see through. And that's initially what was. No? Go ahead.
Well, if I've integrated the facade, meaning that there's
Let me
like, okay, yeah, I got a good way. So if someone's got like a victim mentality, and then you've got someone that doesn't have a victim mentality, the person that doesn't have a victim mentality looking at the person who's claiming to be a victim is they're not falling victim to the same illness that the victim is. And I guess that's all I'm saying, is that I'm not falling victim to the same facade that Shiva necessarily, maybe.
And what was that specifically? What was that? What was it that you weren't falling into that you saw Shiva was falling into? Are you being specific when you say victim? Like, did you feel like Shiva? Okay,
It's yeah,
I know that was
it's not.
so that was an example. But what was it that you were perceiving that Shiva was doing wrong that you weren't?
Like, I think a lot of a lot of like integrating and stuff is like finding out like where your desires, what your motivations are, the things that propel you to act. And for me, I've sat with those for like next level amount of time. So like I basically have been in a state of inaction, or like yeah, I've been in that state for so long. So I guess some of the things that I would like see in Shiva would be like the projections to do with desires. So like seeking like money, seeking attention, all these things that are like outwardly moving are inward forces, meaning like the self will try collect everything on the outside in the pursuit of seeking safety. So it's saying, oh, everything around me is where I'll find the peace of mind and comfort. Once I have all this, once I get the safe job, that's when I'll be safe. Once I get the woman, that's when I'll feel love. Once I have this, but really, it's all backwards. It's not like that.
Okay. I think I got it now. Okay, Shiva, you get where this is going. I'm assuming now, right?
yeah, appears things are becoming clear.
Yeah. So basically, this is going back to ego desire. Like you were seeing Shiva's ego desires,
Yeah,
and you saw yourself as being beyond those ego desires.
basically just levitating. Just no, but yes.
No, yeah, I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that you're animated in that sense. Okay, so now that we do know exactly what happened, so this is basically she was used to this. We've been having actually a wave of people coming in and having the same exact issue with Shiva over and over and over and over and over again. Soma, how long have you been watching Shiva? Let me ask that question.
Since I joined that first YouTube video. So since then, I've just been like seshing every video.
I missed that
Um,
one. How long ago was that?
A few weeks ago, two
Maybe
2
like
weeks.
2 weeks or something. Yeah.
2 weeks ago. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got
So,
it.
Soma,
Got
do you
it.
think I'm
Okay.
enlightened?
I think everyone is.
So,
So okay. Now, all right. Anyway, I think we've covered that. You then alluded to the fact that you resolved this issue in your own mind, right?
Yeah.
You don't currently feel the same way anymore, right?
Yeah.
Talk to us about that. So you had this issue with Shiva's ego desires, I guess, for monetary gain, for fame, for women, for whatever, I don't know, YouTube stardom and all that. Let's say, you know, you felt that way and now you don't. Talk to us
Yeah.
about that. Talk to us how you got from there to where you are now, and where are you now, and how did you get from there to here?
Yeah. Sorry if this is the same story that you've heard, but I'll just tell it again for Shiva, I guess. Yeah, this morning I was like sort of like trying to explore like what it was that I was actually like afraid of. What is this that's like driving me to like talk with these people? Like what is it that's actually happening here? And I was basically going for a walk around wetlands, which is near me, and just sort of sitting with the thoughts and just like, okay, what is it like? Why would I approach these guys in the first place? And it sounds like it's too simple to be true, but it's basically just money. That was the thing that was driving me, was like because I've been in such a state of inaction for so long, and there's been like so much doubt with like what it is that I should be doing and who I should be listening to and stuff. It's just like put everything like on the back burner, because like I feel like that masculine energy can only come out once that feminine feels safe to do so. And um
I want you to know, Soma, I'm not laughing at you at all whatsoever. You know, I think me and Shiva both kind of experience this from time to time. And I don't know if Shiva's obviously not laughing, so he's not feeling the same thing I am. But typically, sometimes I do laugh at people, but sometimes my laugh comes from the fact that I can sense your sincerity. So I want you to understand that whatever you're saying, it's I feel the authenticity, and because it feels so authentic, it makes me chuckle, because it's like I can see myself in you, right? Maybe a former me, maybe not the current me, but I can see a former me in you when you say those things. So, did I understand clearly and correctly that what you're saying is that what drove you to interact, when you say you know, what is it that was driving me to interact with these people? You yourself realized that it was money that was driving you?
yeah.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
But
whoa, whoa, whoa.
it's not just money. It's a bit deeper than that. It's more like the root like driving force, like, but that's obviously like linked to money. So it's like money. If you look at money, it's like what's it giving you? It's giving you food. It's giving you a home. It's giving you everything that you need.
Of
But
course.
like to scale that back and look at what money is as a driver, it's survival. So I've basically, survival has been my shadow. So
Shiva,
because
okay, go ahead. Survival has been shadow.
yeah,
Okay. Shiva, before I go in, I feel like I'm hogging the mic here. Do you have anything to talk about in regards to what he just said? So he came on initially judging the fact that you wanted external desires fulfilled, but then he resolved it in himself by realizing that he also wanted his external desires fulfilled. So, Shiva, what's your take on that?
I didn't want to say this, but I'm going to say it. I hope that he was going to say this first. It sounded to me, maybe this is my narcissism coming out, maybe it is, that he said, oh, he defeated me because I tried to look at a shadow and I didn't see anything, and I kind of saw like how empty he is and how spiritually enlightened he is inside, and I realized, oh, this man is such a great man. That's what I wanted him to say. Maybe that's not the way it is. Maybe he thought something else, but that's at least how I interpreted it. So let me know if you think that's false.
Yeah. Not really. Yeah, like as I say, I think everyone's enlightened. I think it's just like there's those that have remembered it and those that haven't. That's basically it. Like, and I guess what stops someone from remembering it is the ego or the self that's developed.
Do you think I have an
I
ego?
think
Absolutely,
Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
good thing.
Okay.
nice. This is a man who's he's on the path. Shiva, hey, we got to give him that. We got to give him that at least we got to give him that. Shout out to that part. No, but Shiva, so in terms of the way you interpreted him saying the defeated part, the way that I took it was that I guess initially he wanted to break you down from your ego, and then he couldn't, and then that's what made him feel defeated. But until he came to the realization that he basically wanted the same thing as you. And now he's basically integrated that into himself and said, you know what? I don't need to feel defeated because I actually see myself in Shiva.
I see. Understood. Wow.
This is good stuff here. This is the first time that I've seen a person be genuine. And I want this to go out to all the haters out there in the world who need the ego inflation boost that me and Shiva keep offering over and over and over and over again. This is why we're here with the ego inflating guru master Shiva Kailash Shambho. Because what? When you finally take time, maybe like what did he say? He took a walk down the river or something like that. He took time and he was honest with himself, and what the conclusion of the matter was, he realized Shiva was right all the goddamn long. And I think that if most of you take the time and you introspect and you really think about what's really going on, you would also come to the same damn conclusion that this man did. So I really want to, I know he's not here, but a round of applause to him because he's being honest. Okay. It takes a lot for somebody to admit, hey, I felt defeated. I wanted to break your ego and I couldn't. And I realized your ego was so strong. Shiva, this is exactly what you talked about. Remember when you talked about this, Shiva? When you said, when you see my big, ginormous ego that competes with the sun walking down, you better get out the way. This is exactly the manifestation of that. And this young man here, I condemn Soma again. I gotta commend. I gotta commend you. Soma.
Nah, I can condemn that shit, bro.
No. I'm gonna commend you because you know what? It takes a big man to say, you know what? I realized I was wrong, because it sounds like, and again, I didn't see the initial messages, but from what Shiva told me and from what you told me, you felt pretty you felt pretty passionately about your initial stance against Shiva. And for you to have done a complete 180 in such a short amount of time, and then be willing to come on here and admit it live, I think is highly impressive. I'm very I'm very impressed with you, and I want to give you your flowers for doing so. Shiva, before we move on to the next part of this conversation, is there anything else? Is there anything you want to say? Is there anything that's coming to your mind?
No, let's move on.
Okay, great. All right, now Soma. So we've fleshed it all out. We've got to the heart of the matter. We see where it came from. I wish I kind of, only part is I wish I kind of knew some of the things you were saying to Shiva, like how belligerent it was, but maybe that's not necessary, whatever. We got to the part where how you resolved it within yourself. You realized you wanted the same things. So now the only question is, what is your plan now that you've had this realization? And is there anything that maybe me and Shiva can do to help you get there?
Uh, yeah, I think like a lot of like the, you know how I was saying, like put all the action on the back burner and stuff, like everything was just like put on hold big time. I just want to point out with the what you were saying before about like the full 180, because this will all be relevant. Like how you're saying I had a full 180 with Shiva, so it was like I felt this way and went this way. It wasn't necessarily like that. I've sort of approached like my fears with innocence, so like going into it without really having a preconceived idea. Because of this journey, I've gotten a bit wiser about how I actually approach the fears in general. So I've learned along that road that like if I go into a fear with a preconceived idea of it, then I've killed it before I've explored it. So it's like I haven't allowed it into me. It's just like I've judged it before it's even entered. So in that sense, I don't feel like I had a full 180 style set up with Shiva. It was more so that it's just like I couldn't make sense of it, and I was keen to understand it or whatever. And then yeah, it wasn't really an understanding sort of thing.
I understand. Yeah, so what you're saying is like you're not like a flip flopper or something. It was like a genuine realization that you had,
Yeah.
and I get that totally, 100%. So yeah, tell me. I mean, you've come to this realization now that you do want some external desires fulfilled. Can you talk about what some of those are?
It's pretty simple. It's just like I want like financial security, and then everything else will lead from there. That's
Everything
it.
that comes from that. You listen. You don't have to tell us. We already know. Okay. Uh, so now there's these external desires that you've realized within yourself as well through Shiva. So I think, if anything, Shiva enlightened you. That's how I'm going to put that. He was the conduit that you needed to face your shadow. You faced it, and you. I feel like you defeated the dragon, and now it's time to go. So one thing I want to touch on is that you stated yourself that you've been putting. I think you said you've been putting the action on the back burner.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of maybe a lot of I don't know, meditation, introspection, maybe a lot of research, or I don't know, thought process going on, but not a lot of action in your life.
Yeah, I guess the action, like similar to desire and stuff. If action was like an outward moving force, it's not necessarily that I haven't been inactive. It's not that I haven't been doing anything. It's that I've been like incredibly active just in one direction, and it's the like internally, and that's
You've been focusing a
where
lot.
like
You've been focusing a lot on the internal,
yeah
and
yeah
what you've realized through Shiva is that now you need to focus a little bit more on the external. This is, oh my goodness, Shiva! I
yeah
never thought I would
yeah
hear the day. I never thought that I would hear the day that Shiva Kailash. This is my dream. This has been my lifelong dream to hear somebody be motivated to go after the external through Shiva's teachings. Oh my gosh. I've never been a more prouder father in my entire life. Shiva, you're finally taking people in the right direction. Oh my goodness. Oh man, may the Lord rain blessings and shower your journey with much success from here on out, Shiva, because this is great. This is manifesting into great results. Anything you want to say, Shiva, before I continue?
Please continue.
Okay. So Soma, let's talk about this action now. Let's talk about this action that you've been putting on the back burner.
hmm
Do you have any notion yet, or have you not gotten there, as to what specific actions you've been putting on the back burner?
yeah absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds a bit trippy because it's all sort of backwards in some way. But like I've had like a really big fear of helping people, like um, because I've invested so much energy into like understanding stuff.
Wait. You invested so much energy in what?
Into like understanding motivations, understanding what drives me. The idea that I'm a good person is it's like a trigger for me almost like because it's one sided. It's like you can't be a good person and not be a bad person, like in the sense that I mean it.
I'm loving what you're saying here, and I don't want to interrupt. Do you have anything more you need to add before I make my commentary? Okay.
No.
So I want everyone to please rewind this clip that he just said, the last 15 seconds, 30 seconds of what he just specifically said. This is a process that you all need to go through, okay? The man just spoke about the fact that he realized that he needs to help more people. He's been afraid to help more people, and that's the action that he's been putting on the back burner. And the reason that he's been having that on the back burner is because he's been so focused on himself, meaning what motivates him, what are his thoughts, why are the thoughts that he's having thoughts about his thoughts, he's thinking about, what makes him feel this way and trying to figure all that out, and basically being selfish, which is what I've always tried to explain to people in general. That is what spirituality typically is, or has typically become nowadays. Am I getting that right, Soma?
Yeah.
And so you've come to the point now where you realize you've wasted enough time on that, and you're saying, you know what? Forget why I feel the way I feel. Let's put that to the side. Let's stop being selfish, focusing on myself so much, and let me just try to now help other people who might be in a even worse situation than I can possibly be in. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm you have no idea how this is I'm so touched right now. This is amazing. And like, for anybody out there who's dealing with depression, who's dealing with anxiety, who's dealing with this hole that's within inside of yourself that you just can't ever seem to fill, I want you to understand that this man Soma is hit it right on the head as to why it is that you need to stop paying attention to it. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't go away ever. And so there's no point in giving it so much of your time and attention. You need to just stop thinking about those lacking feelings that you have and start thinking and start realizing that we all feel those feelings, and that the most benevolent thing that you can do is, instead of focusing on your hole and on your lacks, is focusing on how you can help others overcome that same exact very human situation. So shout out to you for that, Soma. That is beautiful. That is I dare to say that is gorgeous. That is the most beautiful thing I've ever heard in my life. Shiva, I want you to talk about this because I have a feeling. I have this, again, my third eye is just opening up right now, and I feel like you had a very similar realization. Did you not?
Yes, I had a similar realization that once enough inner work was complete, now it's time to do the outer work. So that's what I'm doing now.
Because when I remember Shiva, it was exactly the same thing. When I first met Shiva, it was all me, 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 me. Why am I so sad? I don't understand. My life hurts. Everything in my feelings, and I don't feel like I'm enough. I'm not man enough. I'm too feminine. I can't. I'm so scared. Da, da, da. And then he completely just, I don't know what happened. One day, like, he just never spoke about that again. And then he just completely turned it into, I'm now going to go help other people. Did I summarize that correctly, Shiva?
Yes, you did.
And let me ask you, when you made that transition, right? Is it because you healed yourself, or was it the very act of making that switch in your perception that helped you to move past those traumas, let's call them?
Well,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Definitely the second option. It's like a problem only exists at the level that the problem arises. It's like if there's that's a good gem. It's like a problem only exists at the level that it arises. I mean, if you can bring awareness to whatever the problem is, it's like a fear. If you've got a fear of being a victim at one level, it's like that problem doesn't exist at another awareness of that, because it's integrated it.
Shiva, anything you want to say before I make my comment?
Yeah, I agree. Tell me what you think.
So this is why I always try to explain to people that this is nothing to do with time. People always have this concept of like, oh, I need more time before I can reach my healing. It's not about time, my friends. It's about having a realization that can happen like that. This man took a walk, okay? He took a walk, and all of a sudden it just came to him. Boom. I want the same thing that Shiva does. What's my problem? Why have I been putting this helping people thing on the back burner? I need to do this now. And immediately, guaranteed from now on, his life will become much better. And it wasn't a matter of time, right? Who did we speak to? Adi recently, right? Who spoke about the concept of, oh, I need more time. It's nonsense. Even Leo called it out, right? Oh yeah, Leo said, trust me, buddy, if you keep thinking the way you're thinking, time isn't going to fix it. And I had this this is exactly what did it for me as well. It was just one day I just realized, man, I've spent 30 something years thinking about myself, thinking about why I feel the way I feel and what makes me sad and why I'm sad, and what exactly how you call this, Soma, victim mentality, right? But then every time I always spoke to somebody else, they had the same problems, They were going through the same issues. They felt the same sadness, the same emptiness, the same loneliness, the same everything. And once I realized, you know what? Forget me. Forget my dumb feelings, whatever. Let me help this guy out. Let me help my neighbor out. All of a sudden, it went from victim mentality to I'm the one here to help. I'm just here to help. Let me help. How can I help? How can I be of service? Right? To the world. And obviously right now at this point, it's through communication. Maybe I can inspire somebody through my words, whatever. But I try to help in any way that I can. Financially, if I can. If I can help you lift something, whatever it is. And the funny thing about it is that this is something that many people have spoken about. Many wise people, many psychologists, anybody who speaks about the subject or the topic of happiness, they always say that giving brings much more happiness than receiving. I really wish I like there's something inside me that I want Shiva to say a lot more. I know maybe Shiva probably is coming from the sense of where he feels complete now and he's like, I'm done with this. I feel everything's been fleshed out, whatever. But I also do want to, if Shiva has nothing more to add, I do want to then go into like a little bit more on how you plan on helping people, Soma. So Shiva, I'll ask you first. Is there anything you want to add?
No, let's continue.
Okay, Soma. So now that you've realized this action that you've been putting on the back burner is that you need to help people, and I absolutely agree with you. And I think everyone needs to realize that that's what this life is about. We're all here burdened. We're all here, we got issues. We all got family issues, financial issues, emotional issues. And then after all of that, we're all going to be unalived. It's a scary, harsh world that we live in. And the most beneficial thing that we can do is help one another, lift each other up, right? So now that you've realized that, Soma, in what way do you want to help people from now on?
I think the best way to help myself is, best way to help others is to help myself. Like the more I gain awareness, the more I explore. It's the byproduct. It's not necessarily that it's like, oh yeah, now I've figured out my fear. I'm going to go launch into helping everybody, and just like it's like the fear was integrated to bring awareness to it, not still be victim to it. And so,
correct.
I guess just keep bringing awareness through the conversations that I have with people, and then through that awareness, it's just the byproduct that it helps other people.
Shiva, anything on that?
No, I have nothing to add.
So this is basically what Shiva's been trying to say for a long time, and I'll say it for you then, Shiva. Everyone that comes on here and says, oh, Shiva's ego this, Shiva's ego that, and he wants money, and you all need to understand that this is exactly what Soma's realizing. In order to help others, you first have to help your freaking self. How are you going to help somebody if you're broke? How are you going to help somebody if you're poor? How are you going to help somebody if you're not influential? How are you going to help somebody if nobody's listening to you? How are you going to help somebody if you get what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. This is why we're promoting this concept, this new idea, this new origin story that we found for Shiva, that he is now the ego inflating guru. Because the more as he inflates his ego, this is the result. It's clear as day. We attract people into our circle who first come at us with anger and all this resentment and what the hell's wrong with you and and then what happens over time? They end up realizing, damn, you know what? I need to do the same thing. So it's funny because as Shiva's ego inflates, what ends up happening? He ends up helping more and more and more and more people. Sorry, too bad, so sad. Right, Shiva?
Oh, yes.
So this is just further testimony, further proof of the fact that the concept works. Shout out Adi. Take some notes. Here's a perfect lesson for you. Soma, let's get back to you real quick. Okay, so now you realize that to help others, you need to help yourself. And I understand that that's through, getting more awareness. I don't know, what that particularly looks like for you. Maybe, I don't know if you need to read more books, more conversations, more meditation. I have no idea. More practice, more whatever, more yoga. I have no idea what your plan is. But how can me and Shiva, is there anything that me and Shiva or Shiva and me can do for you to help you along in that journey, in that process?
We are doing it. We're in it. It's happening now. This is the, yeah. I think this is it, and I'd like to continue doing this.
Perfect. This is beautiful. I just, this has been a beautiful conversation. I would like to invite everybody. I think that this is a perfect opportunity now to invite everybody. Subscribe to the channels. Subscribe to Scary Hours podcast on YouTube. Subscribe to Shiva Kailash Shambho on YouTube. Go to the description of all of our videos. Join the Discords. Get this same exact realization. Let's all realize that we're all trying to help each other. As much as everybody thinks that I'm a hole and a big jerk or whatever, I too I'm on the same path as these two guys. We all have a different way of doing it. Shiva got his way. I'm sure someone's gonna come up with his way of helping people. My way is this way. We all didn't grow up in this. I didn't grow up in the suburbs like you guys did. Okay, so we all got our own ways of doing it. If you hate my way, go to Shiva. If you hate Shiva's way, now you can go to Soma. Okay, so there's more than one way to skin a cat. But the goal and the purpose is exactly the same. I'm trying to help you guys. I've offered it. I don't know how many times. Shiva's offered it. I don't know how many times, and now someone's gonna offer it. So, Soma, if it is, one thing I would say, the easiest way for anybody to help each other is just to be you could lend an ear. That's usually the base level of help that any human being can do to another human being, right? Lend an ear, lend a smile, lend a good word of positivity, some encouragement, some guidance, whatever it may be. And I think, nowadays that's by doing YouTube, do YouTube. So I hope maybe that'd be one of the channels or one of the methods that you explore. If you do decide to do that, me and Shiva are here to help you with that 100%. If there's another way, you let us know, and if we can help you with that, we'd be glad to help you with that also.
On that note, thank you very much for watching. Stay blessed.